Dear students, today I am going to discuss with you the character of Mustafa Monde in Aldous Huxley's novel The Brave New World. Huxley's Brave New World is both fantasy and satire. And so the characters are also both fantastic and satirical. They are exaggerated because they do not live in a normal world. They belong to a world that is controlled by the world state on the principle of community, identity, and stability. A world that has been built on certain predetermined principles cannot allow its citizens to develop their personality as they like. And they have to be in accordance with what the state wants them to be. Therefore, most of the characters in this novel are mechanical and do not possess any deep psychology, with the result that there are few uncertain elements in their nature. All these characters are contrasted with Savage, that is, John, who is representative of the old world and who comes in clash with the new world, which finally leads to his destruction or, say, death. Now, Mustafa Monde, the director of the London Hatchery, is one of the 10 world controllers and is the resident controller for Western Europe. He is a man of middle height, black haired with a hooked nose, full red lips, and his eyes are very piercing and dark. He is a learned man, and it is from him that our intimate knowledge about the new world is derived. He is an intellectual who represents the finest achievements of the new world. Mond contrasted with the savage and represents the new world. He appears dramatically in the embryo room when the director is explaining how boys and girls were kept away from each other till they were over 20. Mond immediately starts telling the students the salient points of the new civilization. He says that according to Ford, history was bunk. He draws a nasty or sordid picture of home, a place reeking with emotion, and he says, I quote, what suffocating intimacies, what dangerous, insane, obscene relationship between the members of the family group. In those days of family, monogamy, romance, the world led an unstable life. No civilization without social stability, no stability without individual stability. He further says, then he compliments the students of the new world who are test tube babies with blood surrogate in their veins and without emotions. According to him, their life is free from tensions and all their desires are fulfilled. The whole world has been so planned that everyone is economically prosperous and happy at heart. Then the next important thing about him is that he has freedom of choice. Only two characters in the novel have freedom of choice, Mustafa Monde and Savage or John. Mond passes through a mental conflict when he starts his career. He has two alternatives at that time, or say two options in front of him. One is he can go to an island where he can pursue his studies in pure science, or another one, work on the controller's council. So he gives up science and chooses high post and happiness. He has come to realize that truth is a menace and science a public danger. Then another important aspect of his character is that he is a very learned man. He has read even those books which are forbidden in the New World. They are restricted. Books like the Holy Bible, the Imitation of Christ, the Varieties of Religious Experience by William James. Besides this, he has read Shakespeare's plays. He also knows the beauty of art, literature, science, and religion. But he cannot accept them. He finds that in spite of all these, the old world was dirty, poverty stricken, subject to pain, disease, and old age. He is fascinated by independent persons, but he cannot allow their views to disturb the peace and equanimity of the new world. And he banishes Watson and Bernard when he realizes that they are dangerous to the new world. Besides this, he is an efficient administrator also. He is firm but always reasonable. He goes into every matter carefully. Like for example, new books come to him for his approval and he studies them thoroughly. He reads a new theory of biology very carefully. He is struck by the author's mathematical treatment of the conception of purpose, but he thinks the author's opinions to be potentially dangerous and subversive. So he decides that the book should not be published. But he is not blind to the truth contained in the book. He agrees with the author that the purpose of life is not well-being, but some intensification and refining of consciousness, or say some enlargement of knowledge. He feels that it is true, but such ideas cannot be allowed because they might decondition the people and lead them away from the pursuit of happiness, which would create instability in the new world. Then another important aspect of his character, that he's a very sweet tempered and soft spoken and reasonable man. You can say he's a very cultured man. This is evident from his talk with John the Savage, Watson and Bernard. When they are brought to him after the incident outside the Park Lane Hospital, he talks with the Savage frankly and explains to him the values of the new world. Mustafa Monde's exposition of the values of the new world is the most remarkable part of the novel. Othello is not required because you can't make tragedies without social stability. Human beings should be produced in the mass with caste differences so that every class will be contented with its lot. Then, according to him, creative science is not required because it is incompatible with happiness. Science had to be controlled because it made great havoc and almost caused destruction of mankind. God is required because people possess youth and prosperity. There is no need for nobility or heroism. Mond, in spite of so much talk and discussion, comes before us as a living character and interests us whenever he appears in the novel. In conclusion, we can say that if John or the character of Savage is the central character in Brave New World, who occupies the most significant place in the novel, Mustafa Monde stands next only to him in importance, both as a character and as a spokesman of a particular world view. So, students, these are some points regarding character of Mustafa Monde, which I have discussed with you today. And in my next video, we'll discuss the character of Lenina. Till then, thank you.